Saturday Showdown. Deepos Kia versus Genji Esports.
And let's see what they're going to be able to put in the mid lane as we get into draft for game number 1. KRX versus Nongshim. Nongshim with the right of first selection. They will select first pick.
A ban away from Willer here early on. No Cassiopeia look. Cassiopeia has been so strong that it is almost always banned these days. We're not seeing it on the Rift as much. It's still ignored here.
Yeah.
Aiming's Ezreal will get taken away. Jarvan is a really interesting one because I think Sponge has been the weakest performing player on Nongshim Red Force right now.
Has been reliant on the Jarvan though, so maybe just making him as uncomfortable as possible is the aim of the game. But do they decide to start the mid lane bans now? That is the big question, and the answer is no.
Getting rid of all the ball carriers.
Okay. So Orianna still just going to be banned. They don't want to see it. So will Cassio just be taken off the board? That is the big question.
I think you've got to.
Poppy.
Poppy is available, but not necessarily first pickable.
That's a scary one to leave up. We've only really seen it. Has it been played like once? I think it's been played once here in the LCK. It was a win.
One time.
But otherwise, it's just been living on the ban list.
You got to ban Cassio here.
I think you do.
They're not going to first pick Poppy, so you could get it as a response maybe to a Sponge pick of some kind.
Does kind of warp the draft though. I feel like you do have to make some more careful decisions. And Ryze isn't as worried about the steadfast presence. He doesn't dash a lot.
I think he's pretty happy with this. So they ban the Cassio. Orion's gone. They get Ryze. So Talia is a common response.
Talia Pantheon, baby. Let's do it.
I mean, it's what I have in my mind. But Willer is looking for the Lee Sin here instead.
All right. So Lee Sin with Poppy available. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a scary
Maybe they
prospect.
get Lee Sin and Poppy and just put the Poppy in the bottom lane, but then you've just eliminated the flex to everyone.
All right, Lee Sin Olaf.
Well, I think the Poppy is probably coming, but not actually going to be the case if they lock the Lucian here for Diablo. A pick he rarely gets his hands on. And we'll have the Lehens Milio in this combination.
And the Annie is going to be UCal's answer to the Ryze. We've seen this cropping up. The Talia has been an option into it as well. I believe Closer beat Scouts Ryze with this one in the Casper Cup final just a few days ago.
I think you probably see a ban on the Poppy right here. And then you will probably ban the Xin. And that will be just eliminating Sponge's playmaking in this one. Could see a Pantheon ban, to be honest, instead of the Xin, since it works really well with Lucian Ryze. Yeah, they do that first.
All right.
And on the other side, we have no idea what this bottom lane is, so you want to get rid of picks that work well into the Lucian Milio. They take away the Nautilus. And it could be a Lulu ban, for example, if they're worried about dealing with that Yunara Lulu. That matchup does get pretty volatile. Pretty close one.
I would kind of like a Seraphine ban. I'm just feeling like she has really started to hit her stride in the meta at the moment and would be able to go toe-to-toe in lane a little bit more effectively than some of the other options. The Karma is still there, though, and so some possibilities for some Caitlyn Karma or something like that.
Do they just not care about the Poppy, I guess? This is the other pick I was talking about, but, I mean, Sponge can't play Poppy now.
He could theoretically.
Assuming they don't take it away and give it to Ando, but I don't think you want to be playing Poppy into Lucian Milio.
That's what I'm a bit scared of as well. The Bard going to be denied from Ando instead.
So no Caitlyn Bard response. Lulu, a possibility here if they want to run the Lulu Yunara lane into this one. It's a greedy one, but it looks like that's what they're aiming for.
Speaking of aiming, he is the one that's going to lock it in. So Yunara first, and we do know that the Lulu is going to be coming next. So Sponge, are you going to be playing Poppy? Kingin, are you going to be playing Poppy? I wouldn't play Poppy into Olaf. That sounds terrible. So it is all about Sponge and whether he does want to take that one away.
I don't think they have to, but it does feel really good into Lee Sin, and it can make sure that your bottom lane can't be punished. Feels really strong in that sense, and you have a lot of early game to play through, especially now that you have the Kled.
All right.
Instead they go for Nefiri, so this is going to be a populous draft for what feels like the first time ever.
I think she has like snuck through a couple of drafts.
Yeah, like one or two.
Yeah, but the Lulu is obviously going to be picked up here as the support for aiming. And a pretty stock standard draft here for KRX, but I feel like this is beautifully Ryze group. You know, like you look down the list of champions and you're like, there's some late game insurance. There's an Annie for dropping bears on stuff. There's Korean junglers playing Lee Sin. Like, this is just beautiful Rise Group flavor.
Yeah, no, it is. It gets more interesting games 2 and 3. But right now we've got all the tier list champions, all the good ones, right, that weren't banned away. We didn't get the Poppy in here because it didn't necessarily make that much sense. Again, I feel like it would have been good defensively into the Lee Sin to put the pressure on bottom side, but instead they want to go for a little bit more fire around top side and let the Lucian lane continue to push on its own. They'll probably accept some defensive vision down there instead, but they want that Kled to get some advantages. I think I trust Nongshim's draft more. As Lazy
Hey,
Feels
it's
here.
Lazy Feel.
He's always here, but this time he's watching in the audience.
Oh, that's really cute. I actually saw some Vietnamese fans backstage as well. So I'm wondering who's over here from Vietnam at the moment. But I know that there was a couple of people here.
He said frog fighting, but he said frog in Korean instead of writing frog. So he's just calling him a frog, not calling him a frog player.
Oh, that's actually very, very cute. But let's see whether the frog is going to be able to fight into King in here. Let's get into the riff for game 1.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 1, Nongshim versus KRX. This one is incredibly important, as Andal and Aiming are going to chase Diablo out of the river here momentarily. Lehen's just going to pick him up, and they should be able to wander away. Ardent Blaze Valley already there. Digon just said lazy peel in like all caps.
Yeah,
chat.
that's what.
That is very dangerous. Don't be lazy when you're peeling. That is sharp, you know? And if you're lazy, you can like really like cut off part of your hand. Like we've all had peeler incidents. Do not be lazy when you're doing that. That is terrible advice. So Digon, just be better, please. That would mean a lot to us.
Maybe he was trying to make a statement about the draft. I
Well,
don't think so, though.
Yeah, I don't know either. That could be a bailout, though, as Aiming is going to take a lot of damage here from Diablo. Diablo's still going to be pushing back, though. Now at about 200 health is Aiming, and going toe-to-toe level 1 is dangerous at the best of times.
Yeah, barrier down for Aiming, as they do get level 2 first out of this, but I don't know what it'll necessarily mean. It was a nice little turnaround there from the Lance from Andil. A lot of damage in Diablo's circle hits as well, and I mean, maybe they could turn this around right away. This is Willer on vision, and Diablo needs level 2. He does get it here.
All right, Q going to connect here, but Sponge is making his way in, bounces into this Tri-Brush, and Diablo is going to take some Slurkle damage here. I mean, this is getting dangerous, as Willer is going to be pushed away. There is a Rise moving into this brush as well, and man, a lot of jockeying for position.
That trade of barriers ended up working out really well for KRX, and Diablo went in aggressively and lost a lot of experience, so didn't get level 3 before they got the back off, and had level 2 very late, as we saw in that exchange. And with Willer down there, didn't have a lot of playmaking ability, but just everything was hitting. You know, the picks play from Andil was really good. Aiming is able to layer that Slurkle in there, just added enough damage with just a little bit of poke in this matchup. Like I said, it's very volatile. Can be won by the Inara Lulu, and they fight their way through it. So really nice start for them. Diablo, a man to be feared on Lucian. I think his stats don't really tell the story of how good he is at this pick, but even still, they haven't been able to win with it.
Yeah.
But with that one time, 1 and 3.
Yeah, it's not what I was expecting as far as the stat line is concerned. We've seen this matchup go both ways. I believe Kingen tried this actually a couple of days ago. Wolf.
He was the
probably
first one.
Yeah, and last time it didn't work out so well. He is currently 0-2 on the Kled. Maybe third time's the charm.
Oh, sorry, he was the first Olaf, sorry, that's what I meant to say.
Ah, yes, that's true too. But he has played, I believe, the Kled a couple of times so far. Hasn't found much success. But we'll see whether this time's going to be different.
In this game on the Nefiri, I want to mention him a little bit here because I think he has been a player that really hasn't been very aggressive. He's been very tame. You know, he's been very slow in a lot of these early games, and that's cost him big against big players like Charvel, for example, in the Kespa Cup Finals just a few days ago. And I wonder if he'll be able to turn the tempo up in this game, because in this matchup against Lee Sin and with this draft, he absolutely needs to. He cannot be a passenger in this game, cannot just be a farming Nefiri. Matched the Lee Sin early and did a good job of deterring a potential dive there, but let's see what else he can get done in this game and in this series.
Yeah, and Grump is up here for Willa. I don't know whether he's going to be heading back there, as this bottom lane seems so important to make sure that Aiming and Andal are not going to be falling behind. Circle value decent, but Diablo and Lehens are very, very safe here. Having hit level 4, that's where this Lucian gets very, very dangerous. The Mega Fire Kick is going to be frustrating here. No polymorph value to come through from Andal, unfortunately. There's the little lance and a bit of extra damage here, just as Andal is playing defense, but Aiming's still going to have his back interrupted. And now a potential dive angle.
Aiming's
Very
super
pretty
low.
good at it.
He does have his barrier back.
Well, Sponge is going to jump in, gets right on top of Andal here, as that's a great polymorph, but still, it's going to wear off, and he goes untargetable. That is first blood, just so comfortably picked up by Nongshim.
Yeah, Aiming would have had to stay under turret there to actually defend his support. He just wasn't willing to do it. It would have been tough, and he might have also just been an additional casualty there, but had barrier and heal, so there might have been some wiggle room there, but he ultimately decides to just let his support die, and stuck around while doing so delayed his back, but won't lose too much from this. But as you guys can see, early kill going over here puts a small lead here for this Lucian in this lane, not as large as Diablo would have liked it to be, as Sponge picks up the kill. But this goes back to the aggression I was talking about we don't always see from Sponge. And if Aiming stays here, he becomes the target. And Polymorph, you know, I think not enough to save there, so I don't think he could actually stay. I don't think Andal can, I don't think he can turn that one around. He probably would have just been the one who dies and then wouldn't have been able to farm, and would have been even worse.
Yeah, and I actually like that he holds on to Flash there, doesn't try to outplay it or anything like that. I think it was going to be a little bit too difficult, especially with Neferi and his ability to dive, which is so strong. Good polymorph that time. Try and avoid the extra damage, as Willer is taking a lot of said damage. Sponge making his way over the flash in from Scout, who does get stunned by the Pyroblast that followed him through there from Yukal. So flash for flash, mid for jungle is going to be the result of the play, but it feels like Nongshim just have so much more pressure here in this game.
They really do. I mean, even though the bottom side had that early mishap, they've taken back completely control of that lane. And Kingen on the top side, it's a new summoner spell on this Kled. I didn't even notice until now the barrier.
That's
he has
kind of
picked
crazy.
Up. He has that one in tow, which could be useful later on in the game too.
Yep. Pretty intrigued by how that one is going to work out.
I think you use it on the very end of your dismount.
Another polymorph comes in here as Aiming is just shooting him. Flashes forward, looking for the angle that Sponge is going to show up. Willard there as well, but is going to back away now that they see this Realm Warp bringing Scout down, but he doesn't have Flash, so cannot make that big Rune Prison play. Does get a bit of damage onto Willer, but Willer isn't too worried about it. Goes back towards his jungle.
And, you know, this is another one of those attempts here. Taking his back off.
Yeah, gets the heal, the shield, and is going to be able to go home. So nicely done there by Diablo.
Yukal gets some damage on the Scout.
Just sort of following him through the jungle here. Does have his bear available. So that means that Scout is not going to be coming on over to stop this plate from going down.
This dive, or gank I should say, is not able to get KRX a kill, but it is able to relieve a lot of pressure, so it's incredibly valuable in that sense. Now notice Aiming is heading towards the top lane here. They may try to spring a bit of a trap here onto Kingen, start to control that as they swap the Olaf bottom side. But instead he's just going to back, and they do have the Lee Sin on the top side. He's going to get the Scuttle Crab on vision. Maybe they could do something with this, but otherwise it's just going to be Aiming, pushing a Kled away as the Olaf looks to head bottom.
Yep.
And
5 seconds on the grubs as well.
Rotating Lucian as well here. He's going to come up here for the straight-up grub fight. Like you said, there's great swap timing for grubs, and he's going to be here. Has level 6 as well. He's ready to scuffle here.
This is some Rise Group gaming right now, as Aiming does hit that level 6 himself. First grub goes over to Nongshim, though. We'll see whether Aiming can actually get down here in time as Yukal flashes in, finds the Incinerate for the double stun, and the Lucian is dead already, but the Olaf is traded immediately. KRX, can they actually find themselves a re-engage into this fight, as Will is going to deliver Sponge into the backline. Aiming dashes after him and finds the Arc of Ruin, but it kind of ruins him and his positioning as he's taken down by Scout. And Kingen, he might be dismounted, but he's got Skull, and he's happy to protect him. Really nicely done here by Nongshim.
Yeah, and Nongshim should be able to take these grubs. I suppose it's going to take a little bit of time without the Fury here, so they decide not to do it. And this fight is really messy. Yukal wants to set up this flash play right into, by the way, a level 6 Milio, but it catches the Milio to prevent any sort of outplay here. The ultimate comes down from Lens immediately afterwards, and the Olaf that's overextended here to help secure that kill does go down. But watch aiming here as they get Sponge over the wall with a nice flash. Aiming follows over the wall. Means he gets Sponge, but he also turns himself into a target. So just very messy. You know, the initial part of this I think was great from KRX. They had some good moments in it, but they kind of cooked a little too hard.
Yeah, now Kingen is going to remount here towards this top side. Frog, I think, playing this one pretty effectively, understanding that Kingen was going to be able to get Skull back, and so going for an all-in was going to be a little dangerous. Flash disadvantage as well for the Olaf. So KRX, that one cost them quite a bit. 600 gold is now the advantage for Nongshim, but I don't think it's over just yet. There's still a Yunara composition. We know what this champion can do later on in the game. And they're just going to have to weather the storm and make sure that this Lucian doesn't get too out of control. And right now, ahead by 100 gold is not really out of control.
No early fight to play through with that just yet, so still early days. Willer's here again.
Okay. Dragon has been started up here. Willer knows exactly what's going on. Steps on that control ward there as well.
Looks like they're just going to get this secured. It was pretty close with Willer being so nearby with that Sonic Wave.
Yeah, not actually going to press Q again, though. I don't think he even really had much of an opportunity because the Sonic Wave kind of hit as
it was dying. Over, yeah.
And item advantage was there for Sponge, so that's a large reason why KRX didn't go for that one. Cyclosword was done, and the Eclipse only just finished now for Willer.
Yeah,
so really good use of item spikes as well.
I think that, you know, even with aiming being a pretty strong force in a scrappy fight like that, they had no setup. You're fighting a Diablo who's on Lucian. They have so much prio. And Aiming doesn't have flash himself either. Diablo's about to have his backups, which is pretty scary. Maybe see a Lee Sin gank to take that away if Willer can find his in here. But they just consistently have put wards in this river entry brush. The Phaelite here doing so much work, and it keeps getting cleared, but it means that they're safe, and they know that line they can walk around Vision. How much can we pressure this Yunara Lulu lane, and when do we have to back off? They've been walking it quite nicely, even though Willer has spent so much time trying to disrupt that.
Yeah, and that's meant that the 3 grubs does go over to Nongshim in the end. Only one of them was taken in that last little scuffle. And so there is the extra value here for Nongshim as Aiming. Going to take some pot shots towards Diablo, charging up that Q. Finally does. Press the big R button, but they do just back away. Willer might be able to find the angle, though. There is the kickback flash from Diablo. That was a bit weird that Willer missed the Q, but that's fine. Now you've got a realm warp towards the top side. Ragnarok is there for Frog, but he is still very, very dead. Yukal comes in, though. Triple stun is kind of massive, as they have 2 champions that can remove the CC, but Scout is just dead. Cannot untargetable that one, as it turns out. And now Kingan's in a bit of trouble, but he pulls Skull back out and keeps himself alive.
Sponge going in a bit funky there, but they bought enough time. They are able to actually take out Yukal in the end. So they're on both sides as Willer's trying to take the jungle and gets punished.
Yeah, and there is the culling as well out of Diablo. Willer, I don't think he's out of the woods just yet, as Diablo's going to get sped up by the shrine there. And I don't know whether Willer's going to be able to make this one work. Yeah, Diablo, even in point-blank range, able to take down the Lee Sin.
Nongshim winning everywhere.
Double the kills, yeah.
Yeah, they're winning on the bottom side defense. They're getting the cross-map dive. They get the extra kill, shut down Yukal's defense attempt. Yukal's down TP. And then they even get the punish. And Willer's like, well, I'm going to get something back. And he crosses the line and gets killed as well.
Man.
So Essence Reaver's online. Go all the way back to this. So on the bottom side player, we're watching that a little bit more closely, but this is what they were trying to set up here with the Realm Warp. Frog is the target here, and they just ult him with the Nefiri. Does have the ability to go untargetable, but Kingen has the aggro here, so Kingen's dismount drops the turret aggro. Scout takes it, and Sponge, unfortunately, when he goes back in here, just eats so much damage.
Yeah, there's a lot of malignants all over the place here in this top lane. But Kingen remounts, and so everything is fine. And then Willer just fought.
He's like, I'm going to get Raptors, so it's okay. It's not okay. You can't do that. Gets the speed up here on the Scuttle. And Willer just doesn't have anywhere to go. Wanted to get to that Blast Cone. That's unable.
Cute little attempt, but not able to actually save himself. And yeah, I've seen this play before. As Sponge does hold on to some turret aggro, but instead they do just decide to give up on the play.
When you have a Yunara Lulu lane on the bottom side that is stable, they get to play a little bit more towards your top side post the laning phase because they're just leaving Frog out to dry. And this is a volatile matchup where King gets ahead. He runs away with the game. And right now he has 13 gold, 1,300, 1,400 gold. In fact, the advantage just keeps going up. This is getting more and more money here. And less money is going over to the Olaf right now. Frog is deep in the hole, and Willer is not getting him out. He just keeps trying to salvage that mid lane, or sorry, the bottom lane that's now in the mid lane, trying to salvage the Diablo Lehen's problem, but they weren't even ahead, you know? Like, they didn't need to play through the Yunara once they had stabilized, but he just kept trying to, and now this is just a huge problem that it's been rinse and repeat here for Nongshim to kill this Olaf.
Yeah. And so Aiming does have a gold lead now that the Cull has cashed in. That is something worth noting. But I just don't know whether it's really enough. 1.7k here at 15 minutes isn't too bad. And Nongshim have so many threats. I mean, there's 4 threats on the map right now. In the Rise, the Lucian, even the Nefiri, and the Kled. So a lot for Aiming to deal with as he looks to try and carry this late game. And Frog, I just don't think he's going to have that impact that he wants as this game goes on.
Yeah, not the biggest impact on that culling, speaking of, but not going to be punishable here by KRX. Sponge is so strong right now, and is very close to his second item. They really need to be respectful.
Yeah, well, Diablo is going to take half of his health bar. Aiming as well. Needs to be careful himself. Arc of Ruin is decent. The fire kick was there to stop the engage. So Diablo down very low, but this Rift Herald still going to get taken here by Sponge. I'm pretty sure the ulti for the re-engage. Great Wild Growth comes in. And now I don't think Frog really wants to be here. He agrees. He's going to run away. And now in goes Willa, out goes Willa. In goes Yukal. No, out goes Sponge. In goes Yukal, never mind. He is actually doing it. They get the ulti out of hands, and out goes Yukal.
All right, now...
In goes who, Wolf?
Yeah, I mean, it's a Sponge with no ult to try to come over here for a steal, and they don't have access to this pit. It's going to be close. Scout's kind of forcing his way in here.
Teleport from the Kled. Kingen is going to be pretty scary here, but doesn't have the charge available. Scout just walks in, though, and Sponge should be able to secure this. Willa goes forward, and it's the Rift Herald taken by the Rise of all people. And Willa is just dead to Diablo on its way out. Little unfortunate there for KRX. They kind of fell apart.
What a tragic way to potentially lose this game as Kingan's on the flank here. He wants to set up a sandwich. They have so much power in this mid wave right now, and he's full health and mounted. I mean, you're going to have to spend so much to kill him if they do commit the fight. They don't, because they don't have a lot of mana on Diablo. I guess is part of the reason. I mean, he was also fairly low. But this is going to be Dragon as they just get every objective on the map right now.
It's so scary. Not quite with ult yet is Aiming. And so Scout will take a bit of damage, but Kingen is able to rotate up, so everything is going to be fine. Yeah, they've got a monopoly on these neutral objectives.
Look at the bottom push. It's not answered by Frog. Is losing so many minions. Didn't have TP. And this is Nongshim with a health advantage here as Aiming gets chunked down. KRX can't fight. And they kind of just slow-played it as if they were going to be in a position to actually turn this at some point. But they weren't. And Willer's like, but it's so low and I really want... You're not getting it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So they kind of slowly just let Nongshim take everything there. Instead of like looking for a more decisive play or backing off earlier to look for their own contest. So a bit indecisive and it costs them a lot. Remember, KRX literally fighting for their tournament life right now in this series.
Yep. If they lose here, they are done. They are joining the DN Supers, and they are not going to make it to the play-ins. As Sponge bouncing forward. It's Chemtech Rift, so Ox, you can turn your attention to him if you don't like Chemtech Souls. Valdez, sorry about the Mega Blast Cones as well. We could have some big disengages here in this game. Yukal showing us the power of the Mega Blast Cone. Can actually deliver Tibbers in a pretty funny way if you use it for engages. So hopefully we see the more aggressive version. That's the one that Valdez likes, and he won't be as upset if that was to be the case.
Frog?
Yeah, Kingen is just kind of hitting him.
He has two items.
There is the Ragnarok. The exhaust comes down, and Frog is just running.
I think Kingen wishes he didn't take Barrier this game. It's not been very valuable for him.
Yeah, it's too defensive. Great Wild Growth does come in, but Aiming is actually going to be backing away here. The culling comes down. He still flashes. Now trying to get the autos down, and Diablo is almost dead, but almost is not enough. Oh, no. They use everything to keep Aiming alive. He stays alive.
But Diablo does too. 3 summoners used on the play with Scout's flash in. Diablo has to flash Barrier, eat Lehen's ult, and he barely walks away with his life. as it is a 2-item buy here for both of these AD carries. The Flicker Blade comes in at the same time as Runins post that play, so neither of them are able to put each other down. They still walk away with 2 items in hand. As Aiming is playing hyper-aggressive here because he wants to bait a play with a Wild Growth, but unfortunately, after the Wild Growth is down, he doesn't have any power to play through. Scout agrees. He flashes forward here. This kick saves it here for the side of KRX. They're not, unfortunately, able to kill Diablo off of it.
A little bit unfortunate, but could have been worse, absolutely. As Diablo able to dance away from the Slurkle there, and aiming is still very strong. These 2 items are extremely powerful on the Yanara. It's just the rest of the map, which is looking very problematic. 2.5 minutes on the next Drake, and the Baron is going to be up in 15 seconds time. I just don't think that is really going to be something we're going to be looking towards just yet. As Frog has found Kingen once again. Ragnarok is up and available once more, and aiming, he's coming down. Skull is going to be dismissed, and Kingen will just back away, but Sponge looking for the angle here. Everyone is in this bottom lane.
Yeah, but I don't know if they have the tools to dive this many people down here with aiming here as well. I think that's probably going to be the end of the aggression from Nongshim. I was worried they were going to try to hard force it into Wild Growth. Yunara ult. Olaf is there. So
and
they
both of those ultimates just came back.
Yeah.
So Andal and aiming now with their R buttons ready to press.
But, I mean, not dying there and getting Nongshim to leave and not commit to a dive isn't exactly a win. It's not in the pros column. It's kind of in the things are the same, which is in the cons column, actually, because the game state right now is pretty abysmal. And look, the Lucian isn't the one who's ahead. It's the Kled, it's the Nefiri. And yes, there's a small lead for the Rise, but that's nothing really to write home about. They just don't have the tempo in this game. They need to actually get a big team fight win to get back map control. I feel like literally with one big team fight win, KRX can actually put this Yunara closer to 3 items, and the game will be a lot closer. Even if it's still like a 2,500 gold lead for Nongshim, it's the map control that matters the most when you're playing into this oppressive Lucian comp. The Lucian isn't ahead, but he's still more powerful right now at this stage of the game with the advantages that they have.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that Rise is going to be that scaling element that they're looking for, and they can turn on a dime and find these engages with the charge. Kled is actually kind of like supercharged Sivir. When you press the R button, you can really rocket your teammates around the rift. So we'll have to look out to see whether Kingen is going to be able to find an angle like that. As Sponge walking on in, seeing whether he can eliminate some of this vision as Willa goes in, goes out. And Sponge will just be backing away. 20 seconds on this Drake. That's why Nongshim are pushed so far into the enemy jungle.
Out has Realm Warp, and they have this flanking Kled. KRX just do not seem to be aware of it. This could be a bit of an overextension here. Okay, Frog does link back up, so I think it's going to be tough for Nongshim to make that happen.
Yeah, this is a scary part.
Still looking for it. Aiming is the target.
Oh man, Kingen could just press R and things could go very, very wrong very quickly as there's the culling. And now that charge does come down, but not exactly in a place where you really are too worried about it, as Willer is looking for an angle. Does land a Q onto Diablo, but decides not to go in. Flash available, so the kick flash could have been very scary.
Sole point here for Nongshim. Willer's at half health. There would be a heavy commitment.
Yeah, Sponge bounces back over again. Nongshim are looking for the turn. Slurkle is good. In goes Willa, but out he goes. Really nice fire kick does come on through there, as you can see. The Olaf is trying to find Scout the Wild Growth to interrupt, and he is going to get his prize. That's going to be the Drake taken, but can KRX find another angle? Frog is in so much trouble as Kingen is going to be wiped out. It's the kill going over to the Annie, and now aiming is trying to get that damage through. Lehenz's defense is pretty fantastic, but KRX still really happy with how this play's gone.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that re-engage from Kingen. He finally tried to get value out of that barrier, but he is just burst down on the attempt. And Nongshim, I think, should have been happy to just say, all right, well, look, it just didn't work out. The Wild Growth play was great. We didn't get the Realm Warp to escape there, but we got the Dragon. Instead, they end up losing 2 on the play as Diablo kites this one out, right? You see on the edge here, Kingen gets pushed back, and Scout tries to Realm Warp, gets the Wild Growth interrupt. Kingen's dismounted here, but he wants to go for a play where he comes in here and gets the remount and has barrier to actually shred through as they go back in. He flashes in to try to kill Frog with a shotgun, and just dies, and as a result, it's a bigger win here for KRX. They are able to all escape there on the bottom side. Otherwise, but like I said, it all takes one team fight. Now it's 1,500 gold, not 4,000 here for Nongshim, and a little bit more map control here for KRX.
Yeah, and at least Nongshim managed to get the Drake, so that soul point can be a big deal. We'll see whether it's going to be, especially with this Melio on the map. I swear, Lehens has been so incredibly impactful on this champion. Every fire kick has been so good. Just wasn't enough in that last fight to really save any of his carries from that certain death.
Picked up as well for him on that bag. That's an item that gives me flashbacks to a different meta.
Yeah, I always think of, like, there's an Olaf in the game, so maybe that's it. The Kanavi special that I think Tarzan was actually playing back here in the LCK, as now Willa is going to discover Sponge. Man, the Darkened Daggers are just doing so much damage.
He's pretty big.
Yeah.
Getting closer to his GA as well in this game. And Diablo needs to be very careful about walking this far up when Yukal has flash, because he will definitely get flash stunned, and there's a lot of friends nearby.
Oh yeah, Aiming is not afraid to continue fighting here though, as Willa is just going to get double tapped. It takes a lot of damage there. Serpent's Fang, third item here for Diablo, has been completed. Kind of crazy going for that one as the culling comes down yet again. Typewriter comes out and Aiming loses a whole bunch of his health bar.
I mean, they had control of the side, so KRX, as the mid push is there, they're just going to use the charge
into the Baron.
As the mid push is there, it's really hard to punish the side lanes. And so both the Kled and this Rise were hard pushing. Now KRX are very aware of this. Scout setting a trap.
Yeah, Bear comes down. Diablo looking for Yukal, who's trying to flash his way out of there. Diablo takes a lot of damage. Scout, can you actually kill the Annie? The answer is not quite yet, but Aiming, he's going to go down. Into the backline goes the Olaf, but Kingen uses Skull to tank it. And Diablo baits them with Lehens' ultimate. And now Nongshim will head over towards the Baron.
And it's more than just a Baron now. After the failed contest here for KRX, they lose two. They will lose this Baron. It looks like Willer is going to try to take a turret here in exchange, but even a TP answer comes through from Scout, and I think he'll just barely save it. Okay, not quite, but he might kill Willer.
Yeah, Willer does get the kickoff. There you go. Nicely done.
Get off of me. Oh.
And he's very dead.
He's very dead, but at least he got the turret. So this was such a cool trap they set vision-wise here. Scout's over here, then Yukal drops the bear, and Diablo flashes on him, and then the Realm Warp here. The play almost gets a little bit too cute as Yukal's stun was going back up, but then he baits Aiming in, and it's just so broken up for KRX. Because on the other side, you have Frog like, I'm gonna get him! I'm sandwiching, we're flanking them! Except the fight was actually won because Nongshim just decided to not deal with the Olaf and push the other side instead, and then turned to kill the Olaf. As this was a desperate attempt to get something back. They did, but I don't know what it really means at this point as the gold goes back to 4,000, 4,500. In fact, here for Nongshim, 45 seconds away from a potential soul.
And the Actualizer is in for Scout. I don't know whether it was quite there for the last fight, but he was devastatingly powerful. Another culling here from Diablo. He is so aggressive on this Lucian, making sure that he keeps that ulti on cooldown. KRX just trying to defend this inner turret. They might be able to do so, but they cannot defend mid lane, as Kingen will be able to just take that one down by himself. Frog gets back there, and the Drake is going to be up very, very soon. Sponge goes untargetable. Nongshim just have all of the answers. Down will go this turret, and Kingen is just able to back away.
See if they can punish anybody right now. I mean, Yukal's stuck under turret, and Kingen's super mobile, has flash and ult.
Well, Q is going to connect there by Willa, and decides not to go in. Diablo takes some damage from the Dragon.
He's then going to damage the Dragon back a lot. And I think that KRX, this might be the last chance in this game to make something. They have no flash on the Annie, no stun just yet, but Yukal's got it set in just one ability.
Well, Kingen is going to be dismounted. They do manage to get this soul, and the charge brings Kingen back in again. Redemption goes down. That's going to heal him back up again, and the Glitter Lance is going to slow Scout, but they just lost the soul, and Baron is still there for a minute.
Kingen was ready to turn that into a game win as Sponge?
He got it with a bleed.
Yeah, and he's also just running at 4 people, and they're
running away.
They're not going to turn on him because they don't have enough information. Kingen is like, I'm winning the game, by the way. Yeah.
Well, the Bear is going to come on through. Bear versus Dinosaur, I guess, as far as the pet battle is concerned. But this inhibitor turret is sitting at half health, both mid and bottom lane, in fact. But mid is going to be the first one to go down as Nongshim
Yukal might get cut off here, chasing Kingen.
Well, Q connects here by Willa, but not going to find too much more, and Sponge just holds position here in the enemy base. Nongshim just so powerful right now as the culling comes on through once again. Turret goes down. Sponge goes into the sky, and yeah, KRX, they just look like they have no idea what they're supposed to do. And honestly, I can't help.
I mean, they don't have really a great teleport ward. They don't have TP actually anymore either. So they can't flank. They can't get out of their base. Aiming has flash to try. I mean, he could try to make a big play if somebody overextended. He's got a lot of damage, a lot of burst and sustained damage, but there's just too many threats there. Kingen is just also making sure he stays mounted while during that push. Like as soon as UCal went for the aggressive play, he just backed off and let his team get the mid turret first and then collapse in. So there's just too many angles of attack, and then Kingen safed where he was. Now fully healed back up. He's got his KRX online. Such a huge threat in this game, and it has been all game long. The story of the Kled.
Yeah.
Diablo doing a lot of work, but the early lead that they played through with Kingen just dismantled KRX. Willer just was not able to match. All of his cross maps came up empty.
Yeah, I feel like Scout has had a bit of a return to form in this. Sponge has had a return to form.
Yeah, absolutely.
In this game. Scout's still good on the rise, as it turns out. He was. It was a bit of a frustrating series that he had a couple of days ago. Obviously, feeling a bit cathartic about this one. Feeling much, much better. KRX looks to try and defend their last remaining inhibitor turret. They might have one more fight left in them, but it's going to be a real tough one. Oh, the kickback! The massive knockups, and down goes Diablo! They're looking for Kingen here as well! Sponge is dead, he gets the remount, but they're just going to kill him again! That play from Willow was so good!
They looked like they didn't know what to do, and maybe in that moment they didn't, but they found out what to do. What a kick! Kick into Wild Growth was insane! And KRX break out of their base. There isn't anything to take on the map but bounty gold here from these turrets, and they've got mid on their sights. They also have that pushing top lane UCal to try to get a little bit more there, but respawns are going to come through pretty soon. But the fact that they were able to find that play at all is pretty amazing for them. Now, it's a best case scenario though, and it's still not that great. As watch this from Willer. Wants to find this angle here. Initially, Diablo goes through, and he's just like, you can't be up like that.
Man.
Turns into a triple, and it's a 3-man knockup on the Wild
Sponge was
Growth.
trying to ult at the same time.
Yeah.
And so it's so much value.
And also, the ultimate there from Lehens really was low value because they were all knocked up. It was not really anything he could have done there to turn the tide of that fight.
And now Aiming has Infinity Edge completed. So
Maybe a way back in, maybe.
potentially. Still, you've got Diablo who's spent some time at the bargain bin. He can't quite make up his mind what he wants to be building just yet. Got some brown bags, got a BF sword, and he almost has a mortal reminder. Just realizing that he does need a little bit of that armor pen, as Aiming is going to just get taken down to half health immediately.
Yeah, he's going to back away though. The Baron has spawned here, and if Nongshim messed this up, remember, Elder spawns in 2 minutes. Suddenly this game is way too close for comfort. Sure, Nongshim are still in absolute control right now. They still have 2-minute inhibitors down to play through, but they need to be very careful.
Yeah, Realm Warp does come in here as Scout over the wall, as there's the Ragnarok, but I have a feeling the Frog might still be going down. They look to try and get on top of Aiming. They find him. Diablo's dead, but it does not matter. This time, Scout is in the fight, and they all get wiped out. Frog is still alive and does have handle there for the support, but this base is in tatters.
Yeah, he's just trying to deal with these waves here. He should be fine, but I don't think he'll be fine for very much longer since they're just going to start wailing on these Nexus turrets. Andil desperately trying to clear that cannon minion, or super minion rather. And good luck on this defense.
Yeah, good luck, guys. I just don't think it's going to happen, as down goes the Olaf. Nexus turret number 2 is going to fall, and Nongshim will find a Nexus to destroy. It was a tough time in Daejeon, but they've come back to Seoul, and they're looking better.
Deal with cool kick play there with the Wild Growth in the end. Did not end up changing the tide of battle, but it was very cool to see KRX was able to at least find one thing back. But I think they had larger issues, and where the jungle spent his time, Willer in particular in this case.
망원 나 일단 지금 기다려봐 나 칼부트로 돌게. 확인. 다음 미드라인 그냥 걸자. 나 공 쓸게 이거. 얘 망원 하나 빠졌고. 아 다음 미드 하자. 다음 미드 하자. 공 쓴다. 올라프. 아 보자. 올라프. 애니 노플. 유나라. 아 이겼다. 아 이거 3점. 아 이거 바텀 가자. 나 올라프 끊을게.